Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stuck in the Middle podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Uncle AK.
And I'm Reflex. Welcome. How you feeling, bruh?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
Hey, I'm good, man. I went white today, you know what I'm saying? It's good. I like that case.
Yeah, man.
Where'd you get that?
Amazon.com, like everybody else.
You know what I mean? Send me the link, man. I'm gonna cop that.
Yeah, most definitely.
But yeah, it's another Sunday, bro. How's your week been?
Man, the week been good. It's just hot, man. It's just too hot now.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, it's been very hot in the East Coast, in Maryland in particular.
Yeah.
And I feel for my brothers out in Arizona and California and Florida. Like our guest is from, you know what I mean? But, so we gonna make it through. I ain't complaining.
Most definitely. How's your weekend?
My weekend has been great. Album dropped last week, did numbers. You know, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed.
How much money you got so far?
I don't know yet. You know, we're not gonna discuss that. I don't want people in my pocket.
I'm trying to get in the pocket.
I'm trying to secure the bag, not release it. But we got a special guest in the building today,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yes,
I'm looking
sir.
forward
Yes,
to this. Before we introduce our guest, we definitely want to let our listeners and watchers know. Appreciate you guys for checking out the podcast week in and week out, and it's really keeps us driven. And if you haven't, please share it on social media. That's word of mouth does amazing things in this digital age. So SITM podcast is how you can reach us everywhere: Snapchat, everything, YouTube, and definitely subscribe and rate it. On iTunes and everything. Send us an email if you want to chat. SITM podcast 237@gmail.com. And definitely hit up Perfect Office Solution. They are our sponsor. $4.99. You can get perfect office space, flexible, affordable, professional. You want people to come, meet you in your office. You know what I mean? And you conduct business there, not in your living room. So definitely hit them up. Let them know we sent you. Promo code is SITM podcast. You get 10% off. That's a deal you cannot afford to lose on. AK, bro.
Yes, sir.
She's Cameroonian.
She's Cameroonian.
You know what I mean? We've had the pleasure of having some amazing guests in the building, but I'm excited for this today. Let them know who we got in the building,
Yeah,
bro.
today we're going behind the scenes, man.
Yes, sir. Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
I see what you did there,
man?
bro.
Yeah,
SEAMS, behind the scenes. I feel that. Hey, my man.
Like when we see stuff like this, man, we get intrigued by who created this. You feel me? Like how does it even come about? Some people might think this part of the deco and stuff, but this is actually a purse.
What I'm saying? Let me move this cheap one in the side a little bit. This is actually one of hers, but let them know we got the building,
yes,
man.
sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the house today. Always, she's a creator of a unique lifestyle. She's a creator of a unique lifestyle brand with a mission to liberate one's creative spirit, to explore identity and embrace the power of the creator within. Ladies and gentlemen, man, I'm about to butcher her name, just for the fun of it, but nah. It's Nyorh
There you go.
Agwe.
Uh-huh.
Welcome to Stuck in the Middle.
Thank you guys for having me.
What does Nyorh mean? That's Nyorh.
Yes.
Chai.
And the R is silent.
Nyorh. What does that mean?
It means in-law.
So yeah, people's in-law.
Literally.
Yeah, mom just bought you say in-law. Bang.
In-law. Bang. That's it. I was actually named after my great-grandmother. And it's funny because she actually is a seamstress.
Really?
She was a seamstress. Yeah.
Dang, that's tough.
Yeah,
but
that's
AK, read in your bio so beautifully. Your mission is to provide products that liberate the wearer's creative spirit to explore his or her identity and embrace the power of the creator within. Like, let's start right there. What does that mean?
Oh, what does that mean? Okay, so when we're talking about the creator within, I think there's a lot of things in this world, a lot of people in this world that try to define you. And that includes fashion, what you wear, especially in the fashion industry, is linked and tied to who the places that you go to. And even when, let's say, for example, let's just take the basic blue collar job, like you aren't somebody if you're not wearing a suit, you know what I'm saying? And maybe even a certain kind of tie that represents whatever level of work or position that you have. All these things that are in fashion that box us in, that we kind of like fall in line to the labels that are given to us to get to where we need to go to. And, then we use other forms of escapism to then really try and be who we really want to be. And where is that time to even do that? So my line is more so a lifestyle of allowing you to be the creator your own creator.
That's the
in,
word, the person wearing
24/7.
it?
Yes, yes, because we are
Interesting.
made from the creator. We have the ability to create ourselves, and I feel like there's a lot more of people consuming than they are creating. And I feel like even when it comes to just creating what it is that you wear, because in African dress, that's something that we know very well, taking the time to dress, and what that means for us. So kind of just sharing that experience with other people as well.
I mean, wouldn't you say? Well, you just said that there's a lot of consuming, but there's not a lot of creating.
Yeah.
Not everybody could be a creator.
Yeah.
And
Or creative, like
or
they say these days.
You know what I mean? But there's definitely a bunch of people who will be consumers.
Yeah.
So help me understand here. Like they say, a lot of people want to lead, but they don't know how to follow in order to lead. Like in this creative aspect of things, how can people yank that out of themselves?
It's going to take a lot of self-exploration. That's something that I'm really big on. A lot of the inspiration from my clothes, from my product, come from me doing the work and figuring out myself. I think that's the number one way we're going to be able to break that, is because a lot of people don't know themselves. They think they know themselves, but they don't. And it's like we are bombarded by work. We're bombarded by like family, things that we need to do in our daily lives. And we rarely take that time to take a mental escape and figure out what's going on within us. And that's very important, because literally everything starts from the heart and then it comes out in whatever shape or form you want it to do too, but it eventually comes out. So if you don't have, positivity flowing, if you're harboring things in your heart and things like that, that's what then comes out. So it's very important to take that time to yourself and figure out what's going on with you and relate, have spaces where you can share those kinds of experiences. Yeah.
So who is Nyorh Agwe? That's a perfect segue to get there. If people listening right now, like, damn, she's speaking bars. So who the heck is she?
Who am I? Oh man.
Yeah.
Like after explaining that, you would think I Well, Nyorh Agwe is a Cameroonian American visualist, artist, creator. She's a fashion designer. She is a sister. She's a fake mother to some, and she's your best friend. Yeah.
That's that in-law, fake mother. That's that in-law in your name.
I didn't even plan that either. That kind of just, yeah.
Cameroonian American. But your formative years were in Italy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, when I was born in Cameroon. Actually, the story was my mom, when she was pregnant with me, she felt something going on, so she just kind of wanted to be around family just in case something happened. So right when I literally was born right after, in Cameroon, in Yaoundé. That's why I was in the capital. And then I lived there. I think we moved back to Italy when I was 3 weeks old. And yeah, first language was Italian. Grew up in Italy until I was like 4. Then came back to Cameroon for a little while. Yeah.
So what's your best food to cook?
I was trying to speak a little Italian.
My best food to cook. Oh man.
Isn't it pasta?
I mean, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. Yeah, it's a lot of things. I love cooking pasta. But I feel like because of the cultures I've experienced, I just love cooking a lot of things.
That was a risky
Like a
question.
Very, very risky.
Right.
You go hit somebody
I can just go forever and ever. I can cook whatever you want, man. I love to cook.
But now let's go back. Let's go back. Yeah. Design, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that most people just wake up and decide to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
You ever try, get ready for a video shoot?
I'm peeping the ring right now. I'm trying to call people in Cameroon to purchase rings for me because they're cheaper down there. And I'm like, damn, we got to talk after this podcast. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to wait for that shipping or whatever. I mess with that. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
But how did all this come about? Like, when did you know this is what you wanted to do?
I knew when I was in high school, and they were in high school. In my high school, they made it like it was part of the assignment to literally go to your parents and talk to them about what it is that you wanted to be. You had to fill out the whole form and made that you checked. They had to sign it and everything. Before then, I had like a really strong passion for arts. And I think in middle school, I just started to kind of tie fashion and arts together. Even still, I didn't even know it was a career. I just liked the fact that I could wear what it is that I wanted to express through my art. it now became from 2D to 3D. So that's where the fashion just came in, and I just kept going with it. Then, as like cliche as it is, I literally changed the channel and watched Project Runway, and I was like, wait, this is a career? So that was the first time that I saw it as like people make money from this. This is someone's like, job. And then I came up to my parents and I was like, I think I want to be a fashion designer. Yeah.
So you attended Parsons School of Design in New York.
Yes.
How did that form? How did that help you enter this fashion world, or not help you? Because that's one of the top fashion schools. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it helped me because I think being in New York and being around in a place where like there's so many different cultures and so many different types of people, it really pushed for me to figure out who I was. And I could definitely say like Parsons allowed me to understand fashion in a way of like, delving into myself and figuring out, what it is that I wanted to say as a designer, as an artist. So they are really good. That school is really good with like conceptualism and like, aesthetics and things like that, developing your creative mind, your method as a creative at that school. So I figured out like how I wanted to do things and what I wanted to say like at that school. As far as like how to actually like build the brand, like, that's what I'm in school for now.
So that's something.
That's where they kind of dropped us off.
You know how they feel like recommendations. If you had a recommendation paper, that's what you were like, Parsons. This was improve on.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I think they have more classes now. But when I was there, no.
So speak about that. What I mean, like building the brand. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Like how since somebody listening right, like dang, like she's popping. I've been following her. I'm trying to do what she's doing. How do you do it? How did you do it? How do you start?
Okay. I feel like when I started, my process was backwards. And I'm actually happy that it happened that way, because now I can kind of like backtrack and be like, oh wait, I didn't do that right. I would say the number one thing that you should do after you've, kind of like, because finding your voice as anybody takes time. People talk like as if like, your concept, your aesthetic, your style as a designer is something that you just form and then it just goes out there. No, like that thing takes some time, but that doesn't mean that you have to, not start and then like, wait, you know what I'm saying, to put it out. I think the best way to do it is to push out your ideas while they're still here, and then kind of involve the community in it. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it is that can, you can get your stuff on. So in that way, you're seeing the reaction of the consumer. Because right now, we're in an age where, like, especially in fashion, the collaboration with the person, the customer, is very important. You can't leave the customer out anymore. Like reviews and everything, you cannot leave the customer out anymore. So it's very important now. You can't just wake up and say, I want to have a fashion brand. You really have to work with who you feel that woman, that man is that would wear your clothes. And then it's a collaborative effort from there. So that's number one that you need to do. Find your voice, or at least find the beginnings of your voice. And then when you're collaborating with your consumer, find ways to like use that information to then feed your design and stuff, because that's the way that you're going to survive, is if you find a way to make your clothes wanted and desired. So
you know what I'm saying, like I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and fit AK shoes real quick, like in the music realm. It's like, I want to create that sound that people like, the down south trap, or what I'm saying, the East Coast, and then you just find yourself all over the place. Don't you feel like that's the same thing? And you just create what you feel like it's out of your heart, and whoever connects it.
Yes, no, that's really true though, because sometimes I felt that way too. Like, what am I? I'm a creative. I should be creating what is in my heart, and I feel like, as a business, like, that's beautiful. See, that's why I said that there's the difference between Parsons. Like, Parsons taught you the, create from my heart. Like, they taught you that part. Now, the school I'm in right now for business, they're teaching you, okay, yes, create from your heart, because obviously authenticity is key. You don't want to always sound like, how many trap songs do we know? I put on the radio, there's like all the same beat. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I fall more in love with, okay, let's say somebody who's doing trap, but then they figured out how to do it in their own way. There's that kind of stuck in the middle. There's that kind of like middle ground of, because yes, you're an artist, so you want to be able to release what it is that you're feeling. That's why you're an artist. But as a business person as well, you got to kind of find what it is that your people are going to be listening to. Because I mean, what's the point? Like, I'm making clothes, and if nobody wears it, then I don't got a business. You're making music, nobody listens to it, then you don't got a business. So
I kind of like that orgasmic, moment.
You
know what I mean? When you say something.
Orgasmic. Which one be that?
Like, when you're explaining something and then you look up like, stuck in the middle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, that makes sense now. It kind of adds up, but
Oh, yeah, shit. Orgasmic.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
But not all seriousness though.
right.
Now describe your creative process, like when you wake up in the morning, you just say, I'm gonna take this brush and just paint around here and bam, get this.
Yeah.
Like, how is it?
First of all, this is by her. And before we went on, that is by her. That's by
Everything
her.
by her, everything.
Everything by her.
My
Even this, I
headphones.
thought, what I'm saying? I'm like, it's H&M or something. Like,
Oh, don't play with me.
hey, sure.
No H&M over here, baby.
Sorry. But everything is by her. That's tough.
Yeah, thank you.
Creative process.
Literally, I have a lot of creative processes. I have the one where it's like I'm done with sketches, I just want to make something. What I love to do is I'll take like a rectangular fabric, just drape it, or I'll do what we call like a fabrication, which is a manipulation of something. If I like pleats, for example, or like in the back of your shirt, there's like, if I make a lot of them and then drape it. So literally what I'm doing is I'm like painting with fabric. Like, if you're painting and you're using a paintbrush, you want something really thick, you take a bunch of paint. So different ways of manipulating it. I blast music. I also love to literally take like this. I saw this and I love weird stuff. So I saw this and I was just like, can I just do this as a bag? It's a lot of just experimentation. I just like see something, if I like it, I try it out, see what it could be. I love recycled goods, like all of these things. Even this is recycled. So, and I love doing that. Even this is recycled because literally you're taking something old and trying to make something new out of it again. And there's like a challenge that comes with that because it can't be what it used to be. It has to be something new. It can't be what it used to be because it'll be recognizable. And what's the fun in that? It has to become something new. So you're literally trying to, I don't know, it's like nurturing it in a way to become something else. So that's the process.
It'd be so cool if someone in here had like a chameleon, a green chameleon just hanging out, or like a prayer mantis just hanging somewhere. You know what I mean?
Should just have one. I should carry one with me too.
You're gonna spook me out. Where can people see this stuff?
Yeah,
on my website. Yeah, I mean the website is kind of. There's so many things I'm doing right now. So, and I told everybody, I'm like, I'm sorry, like, be patient with me, but everything's being uploaded, slowly but surely. But this is sold out right now, but we're putting up more. And then, a lot of things that I'm doing right now is in preparation for the pop-up shop. So
what's your Instagram?
Yeah. Instagram is nyorhagwe.us, NYORHAGWE.us.
How much would this thing normally go with? I mean,
this is $50.
That's not.
That's
bad.
affordable, man.
Affordable.
Yeah.
We got a range of stuff. We have a range of stuff. It's like it goes from high-end clothing to contemporary. So when it comes to clothes, there wouldn't be anything lower than 200 and up. But we definitely have a lot of accessories too. So I mean, everybody can get a little something.
Hey, hit up the website, man. You know what I'm saying? Get you something. It's summertime. Get that.
Before going, you have an event coming up in 25 days. Plug it in.
Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. It's I've done pop-up shops before, but this is my first solo pop-up shop, and I really wanted it to be solo because I think that there needs to be, number one, there are not many, like, people don't be talking about Cameroon like that. That's another thing too. Like, I feel like no one really, when you hear about like Africa Rising and things like that, you don't hear Cameroon in the story. Exactly. Yeah. So that's me. Like, I really just want to be able to put out, stories or experiences or anything that gives knowledge about Cameroon, and not in the way that you think, Cameroon is. Like, the first thing people think of is our soccer team. And I'm like, do we even have a soccer team now? Like,
even in the World Cup.
Like, what do we even, And because I'm tired of hearing, or even telling myself or my family saying, like, what do we even have? I'm like, what are you talking about? We have so much. So the pop-up shop is going to give that Cameroonian American experience, that like Cameroonian hospitality. You're going to see fashion, arts, food. You're going to come in and you're going to, have a sense of like what Cameroon is, and most importantly, what the brand stands for. There hasn't been really an opportunity for the viewer to know the brand, and I want to be able to, I want them to be able to know their brand, and I want to be able to know them. So yeah, very personal experience. My family is going to be there. We're going to like work it out. It's going to be so much fun.
When is it?
It's August 3rd and 4th.
Where?
10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. It's in New York.
Dang,
In Brooklyn.
all day event.
Yeah.
Pull up with.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the food, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay,
what?
definitely.
My mama's making soya.
Hey, I might have to take that flight. You know what I'm saying? Brooklyn, New York, free trip. Boy, while we're on that, definitely get, if you listening right now, watching right now, get your appetites wet. Go on her YouTube page.
Yeah.
You're gonna see videos
Oh,
of your
yeah.
vlogs
Yes.
in Cameroon, actually doing, what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Right,
preparing,
right.
Yeah.
the garments and
Yeah.
everything, because you start this thing from scratch. So
Yes.
go check that out on your web. What's your YouTube?
Same thing as Nyorh.us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything is
Agwe and
Nyorh
Big Caps.
Agwe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like
Nyorh
it.
Agwe or
See?
Nyorhagwe.us. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I want to applaud you, for your bravery. And the reason I say brave is because, you see end products on social media. Everybody's showing that glam, but they're not
Right.
showing the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
the dirt, everything,
Yeah.
And I remember, watching the video on your page, and whoever was recording was like, Chai, you're out here dead to you. And I was like, hey, yo, this man cool, this man real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like standing in the mud, your
Yeah.
2-rope and, your dirty sweats,
Right.
Actually squeezing that stuff.
Yeah.
Literally,
that's
your
mad.
hair all
That's,
messed up. Yeah, yeah.
Man.
No, that's important. You have to. I feel like that's one thing I've been frustrated as an artist, because I feel like a lot of people don't share their process, and that's very important. Like, how did you get there? Like, that's what I want to know. You know what I'm saying? And I've grown to be not ashamed of like sharing that, because I think like people need to understand that like if it needs to start as a one-woman band, then it needs to start as a one-woman band for now, and then keep going. But people need to see that. Yeah.
Who do you look up to?
Oh, who do I look up to?
Who did you? Who you up to right now?
I think definitely my parents, just because, and I say that now because I didn't know that they were entrepreneurs. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, and I know the first time, I talked about fashion design, or even now that I'm talking about entrepreneurship, it's kind of scary for them. But
Was it easy for them to let you into that world?
my mom was more so accepting than my dad at first.
When the bags started coming, he came around.
I think it wasn't even the bags, because the bags still, taking their time. Still, but I think it was just he started to see the seriousness, and then now that I'm in business school, he's hearing me speak like a businesswoman. Like, that's his background, so he's like, okay, like, oh no, she's getting it, So I think what his thing was, it was something completely new to him, and he was afraid that he couldn't relate to it, like relate to me, and like giving me knowledge as a father should, and things like that. So because of that fear, it kind of like backed him away from the idea of it at first. But we're on like such different terms now. So at first it was definitely scary for everybody, because I was the first one out of my family to do anything in arts. I'm the oldest, and now it's funny because like literally everybody after me is doing arts.
All right. You done started something.
Right,
You done put something in the water.
Yeah. Since we're stuck
yeah.
in the middle, right? Let's explore this stuck in the middle aspect of things. Oh, you're based in the States,
Yes.
but you go home to design, create,
Yeah.
and all whatnot. I want to say the fashion, fashion is different from here, back home, and everywhere else. So how do you manage to bridge the gap, to find, a medium to satisfy everybody at once?
That's a good question. So here's the thing. I think because me myself, I'm a product of multiple nations. The things that I will innately create will be able to relate to a lot of people, because the thing is, like, though yes, I'm Cameroonian, I grew up in America and all these things, I'm speaking, the clothes are sharing experience, just like human experiences. Like the last collection was about, my grandfather was really sick and we were scared because we thought he was gonna, kick the bucket, but he didn't, thank God. And what happened in that instant was that I was scared because I felt like we speak different languages. Me and my grandfather, I felt like he, didn't understand that I love our country and that like I love where I'm from and things like that. So a lot of the inspiration came from the language barrier that we have. And so since that, from my experience, that is the inspiration. Literally everyone can relate to something like that. There's a Chinese American somewhere in LA who can relate to the fact that she doesn't speak Chinese, she's in LA chilling. There's an Indian somewhere out there, there's a Pakistani, like there's that just experience, and at the end of the day, the clothes themselves, you can't point at them and say that's African. Like, what does that even mean, first off? But you can't say that. I've heard people say that it looks Japanese. I've heard people say, it looks European. And
they look
like
lit.
That.
That's a universal language.
Yes, so that's how a lot of different people can relate to it, because you're not gonna you cannot point at it and say it's one thing. Right. It's because it's not.
The what intrigues me with this design or the brand. Yeah. When I seen it and I was scrolling through your timeline, I was like, this is just Cameroonian. This is very unique. Like, very unique.
It's other.
Yeah. Then I was watching a video. The top richest people in the world. And the Italian, whoever owns Zara is Italian. Then you were based in Italy. Like I was just planning.
You just spoke blessings in your life.
It's like this is kind of dope. So
Take
it. Are you able to comfortably? You mentioned bags a little bit.
Yeah.
Feed yourself right now, doing what you do, doing Nyorh Agwe. If you is there a side hustle or?
No, I cannot feed myself right now. We being real honest. As we know, like, it definitely takes a while, especially for fashion, for retail, for a business to survive, to get to the point where I'm feeding myself. And I think I started the brand in 2016, and just like this moving and then changing schools, like I haven't really been super stable, and that's why I feel like this personal experience is needed, because a lot of it has been on the internet. That's because that's kind of like my home right now. And what I can say about that is that one thing that I've learned from the school that I'm at right now is being able to connect with the customer and really be of service to the customer. I think the more that I learned that, and these are from these experiences that I opened myself up to, then that's when more customers started to flow in and more customers started to flow in. And just opening up services that, again, after listening to my customer, I'm like, wait, okay, it seems like you guys need this or need that. So it's grown to the sense that, like, a lot of people know about the brand, been in Essence, been in like Vogue Italia and things like that. So it's growing, it's growing, but it's still really small. It's still really small. So, but just kind of like accepting that pace and just doing it at a way where it can continue to grow and nurture. Yeah,
you aren't stuck in the middle. It's big out here. Like, I want to package a question. Sorry, aka 3-4 question. Saying like that idea of being stuck.
Right.
Ever felt stuck? Are you stuck? And what's your biggest setback? And how do you challenge? How do you overcome that?
Oh man. Okay. Yes, I have felt stuck. I don't feel stuck anymore. I rebuke that.
I like that.
But I feel like at first. It was different stages. At first, I didn't understand being stuck. And then I started to enjoy being stuck, because literally it's like, wow, there's, so many places that I can pull from. And then now when it comes to, like, say, for example, as a small business, literally I am the only one doing everything. A lot of people look on the website and they think it's like a full-blown company. I'm like, no, it's just me.
That's not branding. That's not packaging.
But just kind of like literally like pushing away any thought of, oh my goodness, it's only you, can you do this? Oh, you don't have any steady funds and things like that. Listen, if you are passionate about something, you will make it happen. I'm not with people who are like, oh yeah, I'm passionate about being a photographer. I want to be this, I want to be that. And then you're giving excuses. Like, if it is actually a passion for you, money is not an issue. You'll figure out a way to get it done. And I can say that because literally I'm doing that. So I've been stuck many, many times, but I choose not to stay there. Yeah.
I like it.
Why stay at the bottom when you find a way to get on top?
Hey,
hello.
That's me again. Look at the outside.
Do you feel like the fashion industry, the market is saturated in terms of can new people penetrate that market?
Yeah, it definitely is saturated. But the one thing that I have hope for, my business teacher always said, because he's like always picking fun at me because of the fashion industry and whatnot. He's always saying that. But I like to say to him that, African fashion is rising. African fashion is something completely, not that it's new, but the creatives from the continent are so tired of the way that other people have been telling their story that they've been able to push and like literally showcase, and we got to thank Instagram and we got to thank Facebook and all these social media platforms, because literally it's been making a lot of these creatives visible. So now a lot of people are saying, wait a minute,
man, shout out to Facebook Watch.
Africa is being told in a different way. And not only Africa, but literally people are now understanding that there's different, South Africa is different from Cameroon and all these other places. But
so just a follow up to that question, as a black designer, are you all dressed up with nowhere to go? And by that I mean, like, we've seen Virgil Abloh, saying, like, and Louis Vuitton, and he just put on his show, and Kanye West, even, I mean, is there room for people like you, female, double, minority, in the boardrooms, in the runways?
Are there places for us? I mean, there has to be. I feel like that question is not even are there. It's like, are we gonna make the spaces for us? Even if there isn't currently, are we gonna be like, fine, let's do our own thing. Let's, you know what I'm saying? I think it's definitely harder. I think as Black women, we have a lot more challenges, but again, like, I'm a no excuse type of person right now. So it's like, if we're saying all these things, like, we need to find ways to push past them. Yeah.
What is one thing now that you wishing when you started your journey?
I wish I knew that you don't have to get it right the first time. I feel like that's important, because you beat yourself up about it a lot. And then the time that you spend to beat yourself up about it, you could have been using, placing your energy in other places and doing other things. And that, like, failure is not a bad thing. In fact, I think that's one thing that really truly nurtures growth. The thing is, you can't stay there. You have to rise above it, and figure out how, from whatever it is that you feel like you failed, that you use that to kind of educate your next steps. Yeah.
We see a lot of brands on social media, Facebook, Instagram, what have you. How do you stand out from all these other brands?
I stand out because I feel like no one can tell my story like me. I think that's one thing that is always going to be different, especially in artists. Like, you're going to sound different from another, African artist. And why do then people choose to listen to you versus another person? You know what I'm saying?
How you know I do music?
Dude, I've researched y'all.
Stop.
Come on now. I've researched y'all. What?
She pointing at me. I'm like, damn.
What? Gotta do your research. But that's how you stick out. You have to be authentic and true to you, because regardless, authenticity is what's gonna draw people to you. Like, to be honest, I love Cardi B, but she's not the first female, like, what makes her different from any other person? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, that's what I'm saying. Like, all these, like, words and things like that, like, that's just because she's her. Like, that's what she does, and she just is that, she is who she is, and then before you know it, it becomes a marketing, tactic and things like that. But it's because it branched off from her authenticity. Yeah.
You gave one already. I'm just gonna ask for two, two more tips for people, like I said, out there. Yeah. When you giving three, I'll just say one more for somebody out there like, dang, just give me one more tip. I want to start
One more
something.
tip, yeah.
You've dropped mad dimes. Just one right now.
Man, I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna piggyback off the authenticity thing again, because literally I think that's super important. Like, I, as a designer, I am so tired of everybody and their mother dropping t-shirt companies and slapping logos on top of them and then calling themselves a fashion designer. Don't do something just because you see everybody else doing it. It doesn't mean that it's gonna work for you. Mm-hmm. It really doesn't. I feel like that's when I started, that's what I felt I was kind of creeping into, that yes, I was an African fashion designer, and at the same time it was 2015 when African fashion was like really, kind of like at the forefront. And I would see and I would always admire and follow these other brands and be like, maybe that's what it is. She did ruffles. Maybe I should do ruffles and things like that. It's like, no, like you have to be able to find your voice and use that to propel yourself and your business. I think the dangerous thing, though I love social media, is that there is so much information out there and you can easily become a hater or envious, you know what I'm saying? And that's fine. Just kind of like, be like, okay, like I was hating for like 2 seconds. And I'm speaking to myself too when I'm like saying these things. And it's like, really go back to the drawing board and find out what makes you different. That's super important. And again, that takes a lot of digging to do. I will stick to that as like the super main point. There's definitely a lot of like other things, because it's like you have to get that right first before anything else comes in. You have to get that right first, or else it all will fall apart. Yeah.
Dang.
Man, let me play flex for a bit. Look at that camera right there. That one right there. And tell the people why they should shop at Nyorh. Yeah.
Why they should shop at Nyorh.
Yeah, why they should follow the brand.
You should shop here because literally we provide more than clothing. Literally, when you wear the clothes, it's an experience that you will never forget. Wherever it is that you want to go, you will go with these clothes. And you're not just buying into clothes, you're buying into a company, you're buying into a lifestyle that you support. You're literally like into a family. That's literally what it is that you're buying into. So yeah, it's more than clothes. It really is. It's more than clothes.
Success to me is being able to have all my bills on auto pay. What's success to you?
Ooh, success to me is making sure that the purpose behind this brand is fulfilled. I could care less about the money. I just want to be able to get to where it is that I want to go and see the fruit from that. Yeah.
Oh, you're staring at me.
I mean, it looked like it was a 1, 2, 3 thing.
Success to me is, like inviting people here, to share the stories, and that one kid or that one grown up out there hear your story, either follow the movement or take from this and create theirs. It's like that chain reaction. If you could do that for yourself, then hey, we have a good society. You know what I mean? Yeah. How can people, reach you on social media?
And get all this bling, you know what I'm saying? This. Can I have this though?
No, you can't have it. Sorry.
Dang. I can buy it though.
I would like to frame this thing in a box and just put it up. Like,
right.
Just put it on the wall somewhere,
You could do that if you want to. Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram, NyorhAgwe.us, Facebook, Nyorh Agwe, Twitter, Nyorh Agwe. My website is nyorhagwe.us, YouTube, Nyorh Agwe, everything Nyorh Agwe.
And Nyorh is spelled
Nyorh, and Agwe is spelled Agwe.
It'll be right here. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes.
Man, this has been dope.
Yeah.
This has been dope. Shout out to y'all.
Hey,
y'all are doing some amazing stuff, man. Come on.
Shout out to you, man. You know what I'm saying? This is lovely.
Yeah.
But all good things come to an end. Sadly,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to end here.
Before you close that joke real quick, let me just plug this in real quick.
Yeah.
Come meet family and friends. Come meet family and experience Cameroon art, music, food, and fashion through a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
It is made in Cameroon, made in the United States, a fundraiser experience and pop-up shop with featuring new art, apparels, home good. When is it again?
It's August 3rd and 4th. If you're in New York, come to Brooklyn, come through. It's in Bed-Stuy Museum of African Art, an amazing, amazing place. So y'all need to come. Y'all need to come.
The address is 1157 Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn, New York.
Take
Hey,
a trip.
Take a trip, man.
Take
you
a
know
trip.
what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, all things don't have to end. You know, say you can share it with your friends and family on social media. SITM podcast.
Friends, speak clearly.
This is where you
speak
can
clearly.
find us. And shout out to our sponsor, Perfect Office Solutions. Definitely hit them up if you need office space. Let them know we sent you. SITM podcast is the promo code. Help us, help you, help us. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We out.
After party after this mic's turn off.
Woo, woo.
Man, thank you for coming through.
Thank you guys
This
for
has been
having
dope.
me.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Don't forget, to follow us on all social platforms at SITM Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook, SITM Podcast. Email us, SITMPodcast237@gmail.com for questions, comments, referrals. If you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who wants to be on the guest, if you know the popping movers, the movers and shakers in our community, email us, hey, DM us,
Yeah.
call us, the numbers on the website.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's funny you mentioned that because Ma's actually behind the camera. Shout out to Ma. How
shout out to
Nyorh
Ma.
is sitting here is like,
So
there
funny.
was a house party.
Yep.
And she got invited, plus one, whatever.
Right.
And she came in that joint look with her stuff. And Ma was like, yo, like, that's tough.
Right.
Where you shop
Big
at?
dope.
And then
Big
Nyorh
dope.
was like, this is me. And then Ma was like, AK. Fashion. You know what I'm saying? And we here. So, hey, it's lit. It's lit. But next week,
Yes.
our guest next week is Talib Saber. He is an attorney, activist, and filmmaker. This is going to be so powerful. Yeah, I want to check this out. That's all we're going to say. Talib Saber next week. Tune in. We're Stalking with the podcast.
And we out.